What up, y'all? It's your man, Abuamerican. I'm here with my homie, Unplugged Fit, Myron. What's good?
What's up, Abu? How are you, man?
Man, I'm chill like always, bro. Look like I just woke up because I just did.
I just did too, bro. I'm admitting it. 2 o'clock in the afternoon in Miami, degenerate lifestyle over here.
Well, you better than me. It's 8 p.m. out here, so I'll be worse. But it doesn't show on you because you're young, you know. So me,
Yeah.
I'm out here.
I'm 30, man. Like people always think like, oh, are you in your 20s and stuff? I'm like, thank you. I use moisturizer, but no, I'm old.
I
I'm
thought you were
getting
in your
there.
20s, man. Yeah, I thought you were in
Yeah,
your
no, I'm 30, dude. I'm 30, man. It's I honestly I think a good reason is I drink a lot of water and I don't really drink like that, and I definitely don't smoke or do anything like that. I've never done a drug in my life, so that's like helped with maintaining the youth and eating well. It's like surprising how much your diet makes a difference on your appearance as far as like, because I always say like your skin's like an outward manifestation of your own health. So like if you got acne and all this other shit, unless like you get like a disease you can't help, most of the time it's because your food's off or your diet's off.
I see. It's also black don't crack, but I don't do drugs.
That too.
You know. So maybe that's my secret is at 48. I'm almost 50.
Yeah, because you look good for your age too, man.
Thanks, man.
So,
And I drink
no homo.
unsweetened tea. This is like unsweetened tea, so you know.
Oh, okay, all right.
I'm doing this stuff. It's just like it's basically like flavored water.
Hey. Nice, man. Nice. Yeah, but no, that's definitely that's kind of one of my secrets is like the crazy water drinking.
Nice. Hey, so we have been doing like dude party together for a while.
Yes. Yeah,
And,
like for like a few months actually.
Yeah. And all this time I never knew you were Muslim, man. How'd that happen? How did how did I miss that fact?
Yeah. So so for the guys, I'm sure a lot of you guys in your audience don't know who I am. So guys, my name's Myron Gaines. I own Unplugged Fitness, and I work really close with John from Modern Life Dating. Shout out to him. That's my fucking man, dude. He's taught me a lot. And basically, John just like kicked me in the ass and said, dude, you need to start creating content. Like people are going to love you. You need to just start doing this. And for me, this is part-time. So I enjoyed doing it. And part of me like getting my name out there more as I was appearing on a show called Dude Party, which Abu is a regular on the panel. And Dude Party is a show that we do after Rule Zero, where we discuss contemporary topics. We discuss the dating market. We discuss like last week, you know, it's not just about like talking about girls or whatever. It's like all types of issues. So last week, yesterday, we discussed that stupid area in Seattle, Chaz, where we got these anarchists, Antifa doing all this crazy shit. So we discussed that. And it's great because we get a whole bunch of different people on there. We get guys like Abuamerican, Rich Cooper, Rollo Tomasi jumps on there, Mr. Locario, Donovan Sharp comes in. So we get a wide array of different viewpoints, different races, Afi Kingdom, etc. So it's great to like them to bring their experiences in and give opinions. So it's awesome.
Yeah.
And then, about the Muslim thing. Sorry, I only answered half. So about me, I grew up, guys, in Connecticut, New Britain, Connecticut, to be exact. That's my hometown. And my parents are from Sudan. Both parents are from Sudan. They're still together to this day. And they came here in the 80s. And my dad came first, and he married my mom and then brought her here. And I grew up in New York City. Brooklyn to be exact, when it was dangerous in the 90s, and my dad was a cab driver there in the 80s and 90s, and then he was able to like work his way up and figure it out. But they didn't speak English coming here, and they both speak Arabic, and then now, you know, their English is pretty good, and they've been here for, you know, 30 plus years, and they're still together. So that's kind of like my background as far as like and then on my mom's side of the family, a lot of them like were raised and lived in Egypt, and there's some Jordanian roots as well, but I'm just Sudanese is pretty much, you know, what I say.
So wait, انت تتكلم عربي ها؟
I أتكلم شوية عربي مكسر.
ما شاء الله.
Yeah, I speak and I can understand. I'm just not like fluent. I used to be fluent with Arabic, but like not anymore, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, I learned like conversational Arabic when I lived in Qatar. I lived in Qatar 7 years, you know, and that's where my whole like Abu-American adventure started, because that's where I first like I had 3 wives for the first time in my life. And 2 under one.
That's awesome, bro. I'm gonna have to ask you a little bit about that. like you're the only guy I know that's like really like, you know, everyone's talking about I'm a pimp, yeah. And when in reality, like, yo, Abu-American has like multiple wives, guys that like that truly respect and adore him. And it's like he's polygamous, but they're not. That's what I define as like good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And some of these pimps be throwing me under the bus. I'm like, yo, what the hell? How you? Yeah, it's madness, man.
Yeah, you're
Dude,
living the dream, bro.
man, I'm trying to upgrade, but we were talking about this backstage, and this is like, man, I've noticed for every single man that's polygynous, at least in the Muslim world, I don't know about non-Muslims, but for the Muslims, man, that third wife is always the hardest. It's like that's the hardest. From 1 to 2 is easy. From 3 to 4 is easy, but from 2 to 3, man, that's just
maybe it's because she's already established a bond with the other girl, so she's like, we don't need this third one. Like, what are you doing?
I don't know, man, because I mean, my current 2 wives don't get along, and I had this situation before. There's always going to be in every with every 3 women, there's 2 that's not going to get along. It's just a fact. I think that's capable. And so this is the second time I'm going through this where, like, you know, I got 2 that don't get along, but it's like that number 3, just it's like a pearl, man.
I've noticed, dude, like, you know, people are whatever. We're gonna make it controversial right now. Fuck your first 3 minutes of the podcast. Like, what I've noticed is like, just from, you know, dating a lot of girls here in Miami and kind of seeing things, and you know, I've noticed that women, they don't really like hold on. A lot of them don't like value friendships as much as men do. I feel like because like guys I know typically will hold their friendships like longer, like, you know, childhood friends, whatever it may be. But women tend to grow apart faster. I've noticed. You know what I mean? And then also, like, I can't tell you how many girls I've dated. No, I hate girls. I don't like girls and all this other shit. And it's because, you know, we all know that they argue in the cerebral, you know, and they do a bunch of passive aggressive shit that they don't like. So like, it's all, but I've never heard a dude say, oh, I don't like hanging out with guys. I've never once heard that shit coming from a straight dude, you know, but I've heard it from plenty of straight girls. I hate hanging out with girls. And, you know, it's what was it? Al Bundy? He said, women understand women and they hate each other.
Right.
From that sitcom back in the 90s, which I always thought was pretty funny. Yeah, Love and Marriage. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, that's facts, man. Yeah, I guess that's what it is. I don't know, but yeah, getting her. What about you, man? So you say you've been dating and everything.
Yeah.
When you finally like decide you're going to settle down, you're going to settle down with one, or are you going to go ahead and try and rack up and stack up?
Yeah. So what I've learned, man, and man, I hope my parents never catch this podcast because they were fucking right, bro. No, I'm just kidding. No, we all good. They'd probably slap me, but it's all good. No. So with me, yeah, definitely, I would definitely have like multiple wives. There's no way I wouldn't. Like, that's why I'm like reluctant to settle down. Because like, well, first, if you say something like that in front of like a westernized woman, she's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I'm like, well, you know, it's kind of accepted in our religion, you know, because it's always been, you know, it's in the Quran, like, you know, men, we're different than women. And that's one thing about the Quran that's like, you know, it kind of highlights it basically like explicitly shows how men and women are not equal and how we're completely different. And to me, I think men show their commitment much differently than women do. You know, a man shows commitment through provisioning for you, protecting you, giving you access to his finances, providing a home for you, whatever it may be. Whereas like with a woman, I believe she shows her fidelity to she shows her commitment to you, but by her fidelity, you know, because and this is all in the Quran. Like with women, the sex for them is emotion. It's not the same as it is for us. You know, for men can easily detach from sex, but women is very tough. So for me, I would definitely want to get multiple wives. But what people don't understand though with Islam is that if you have multiple wives, you have to treat each one this exact same financially. So if you buy one a house, that means you got to buy the other. So people think it's like, oh, you guys are just like crazy polygamists. It's like, no, bro, there's plenty of checks and balances. Because if you are gonna, you know, get another wife, that's gonna come with responsibilities and consequences, which people are allergic to that fucking word in the West, consequences. And you know, it's going to come with consequences. So you need to be able to afford it. So for me, I know I would definitely want to have multiple wives because it just makes sense. Because like I'd rather do that than like cheat on her. And I'm very honest with girls that I deal with anyway. I tell them I date around, I do my thing. I don't like lying to women. I think that's a bad move.
Yeah, man. I hear you on that, man. I was telling you backstage about this girl, man. I told her, I was like, look, I got multiple women in my life, this, that, the other. I was like, you know, if you're gonna try and mess with me, this is how it is. Because I just had to deal with this whole situation myself. I'm trying to get over this hurdle of third. Man, I had this girl, she had like 8.5 to a 9, Moroccan girl. And man, we just got
Moroccans are attractive.
Yeah, she hella fine. All of them.
Arabic is fucked up though, but
Yeah, it's not really Arabic. It
Yeah,
comes
they
from
got like the worst Arabic, dude. I can't understand shit Moroccan says,
some
bro. It's
French mixed together with Berber and some Arabic thrown in.
yeah.
But I got hung up on that whole thing with her, and she went ghost on me, man. She got really mad. So I just met this new girl, man, this Afghan girl, and I was like, look, this is what it is, because she pushing hard. I'm like, this is what it is, so yeah, being honest with them is probably best from the start. I tell guys all the time, you can't get into a relationship with a girl and then try and change the rules later. You can't switch the rules of arrangement later. Like
Yes.
they get married and there was never any talk of polygyny, and then like 5, 6, 7, 10 years into the marriage, they're like, yo, Abuamerican, how am I gonna I want to get another wife. I'm like, yeah, you got to get ready to lose this one, because
Yeah.
you can't change the rules of the game.
Absolutely. And yo, you just said something like that's profound, because that's a big mistake that all men make. They enter a relationship on a bad pretense. And then what guys don't understand is the way you enter the relationship is probably going to dictate how that relationship goes. So and that's why I was talking about this with Locario, like this dude, this caller called in and talked about, and for guys that don't know, Locario's shout out to him. He's he's a longtime dating coach on YouTube. But basically, he has this call-in show, and the caller called in and said, I ended up, hitting up this girl like 4 or 5 times, and I finally got laid. And we were trying to tell the caller, like, listen, how you acquire the girl is more important than acquiring the girl. And I say that and I say, that was just a hookup, and we're like, yo, she's not going to respect you, saying, but when in a relationship, that's even more important how you enter the relationship. Because like, if you're on some bullshit, like telling girls like, sweet nothings, like, oh, I love you, baby, you're the only one, and all this other stupid sucker shit, right? You're fucking like listening to Jagged Edge and shit, like, let's get married, you know what I'm saying? And then you pull the rug from underneath her, and she finds out that you're cheating and stuff. Well, that's gonna cause some issues for you later on. So you're always better off like being honest. We're not saying have full disclosure, but like things like that are like that are pretty significant, like a polygamous relationship, and where you intend to only be polygamous and she can't. You should probably put that out there in the front end.
Yeah, you front load that one. Yeah, put that horse out in front of that court real early on.
Yeah, man, it's going to cause you issues. And then to answer your other question, I forgot to bring up this point, because like my parents always told me, hey, you need to marry, they always say, marry a woman that knows your deen, you know what I'm saying? Like, or speaks Arabic, so the kids speak it and everything like that. And I kind of agree with that. Like, they were kind of right. Because like, as I get older and older, like, my view is like, let's face it, if you tell like an American girl, hey, I want to have multiple wives, you're going to be one. I'm going to be polygamous. You can't be. Most of them aren't going to accept that. They're going to say, what? Fuck you. Like, what are you talking about? No, fuck you. So it'd probably be easier to do something like that with a woman that like grew up in a traditional Muslim household, because she'll like kind of understand like this is how it is, and they kind of like understand the patriarchy. To them, it's not so foreign, versus like a lot of girls like will fight you. Like they'll be attracted to you. Like what I've noticed is like a lot of girls are attracted to the way I do things, where like I tell them I don't listen to women. Like I don't follow women's direction within the confinements of a relationship. I'm the leader, you follow. If it's not this way, I'm kicking you to the curb. Like they really like that. But like, but they like that authority, assertive dominance. But they won't like some of the consequences that come with that. That like, hey, you got to share me. Some girls like just don't like that shit.
Yeah. That's Going back to this one, because this is one I was just working on for a while. It's my most recent case. It was pretty much that right there. I mean, she had a very strong / feminist almost vibe. Which is weird, because she's a very attractive girl. She comes from a very patriarchal society. Her father's, very much a patriarch, but that really disturbed her, and she was trying to escape that. So it was kind of like, oh, man, I know exactly what you're talking about. So talking about all this, you are kind of in the gaming world, like, game and whatnot. Actually, I used your thumbnail, not your thumbnail, what we call it, your header from the thumbnail. Turning
transforming. So it's Unplugged Fitness, and my slogan is transforming Sims to Pimps.
Yeah. Tell me about that, man. How did you get into game? What game and all this stuff? How did you?
So, with me, man, that's a great question. I guess I'll tell my evolution. So I went to Northeastern University in Boston, and now you're the first show I'm talking about this on. I remember I read this book called Conquer Your Campus, and before I went to college at Northeastern University in Boston, and it was a book, even though it's like super dated now, it was a book that talked about being attractive on a college campus and using social status. And actually, before that, in high school, my senior year of high school, I had read it was either senior or junior year high school. I had read the Mystery Method by Eric von I forget his last name, but the Mystery Method, which I'm sure everybody in here in this sphere knows what that book is. Which I really do suggest everyone read that book, because you're going to learn, even though there's a lot of data information in there, you're going to learn a lot of like prerequisites that like naturally make you attractive to women. So I read that book, and I read Conquer Your Campus, and I went to college, and I kind of saw how social hierarchies were so important. And when in university, the thing I noticed about university, like university is kind of like a smaller scale world, right? Like who gets all the action on college campuses? Like the frat guys, the athletes, people that have social status, which is kind of the same as in the real world. Who gets action? The celebrities, the athletes, whatever it may be. So I learned quickly on that, like, social status was very important. But I didn't understand like the why. I understood the what, but I didn't really know the why, which is a problem for most people. So, I throughout my journey, I kind of like picked up things here and there, but I would say I really started drinking through a fire hose when I moved here to Miami 2 years ago, because here in Miami, you can't afford to like just figure this shit out, because if you don't know what you're doing, you're just going to take an L every single time. You're going to get curved. The girls here are cutthroat, because they're beautiful. And the more beautiful the women, typically, the more they're just going to be aware of, like, because they've dealt with so many men and they dealt with so many high level men, they're not going to tolerate BS. So I had to like learn this stuff quick. So in the past 2 years in Miami, that's when I really figured things out, because I used to do a lot of night game. Bars here are closed now, but like I would go to the bars and talk to the girls, whatever it may be, and I like kind of figured that out quickly in the club scene, and then like just going out on dates and like figuring out dating apps here. So it was, I learned a lot through experience, and then like I linked up with John, and when he was having his webinars, he has this course called Body Language Mastery, and in it, which I suggest everyone enroll in that. It basically, he does webinars for 3 weeks. And I noticed that guys were asking like a bunch of questions that like, I was like, oh, guys don't know the answers to this stuff. Like what the, and then that's when I kind of realized like, being here in Miami kind of put me in a unique position to like learn this stuff at like an accelerated pace. So I just impart my knowledge. And me and John see eye to eye on a lot of like different things in Locario, like Donovan Sharp, etc. Like we all agree that like, guys, you can't give your attention away for free. You got to make girls earn it. Like all these like universal things that make men more attractive to women. So, it's just been a fun ride, like kind of helping out. And then me and John last month, we released a course called Pandemic Pickup, where we basically taught guys, we were teaching guys like, how to maximize online dating. Obviously with the pandemic, it was much harder to meet women. So, we basically showed guys how to, basically do online dating like on fucking Deca and Trend, and also how to maximize their profile. And the thing too is like, I made a video about this recently, like with online dating apps, women find like 80+% of the men as like below attractive. And it's not that, and guys have to, especially good dudes in like the black pill community, whatever, they tend to think that like, oh, it's all looks, money, and status, and it's only looks. That's why they don't like us. And it's not. You guys got to understand that like when we say, hey, she's not attractive, that's completely different than when a woman says he's not attractive, because for men, we're very visual. So if a guy typically says she's not attractive, most of the time that's going to come from her physical appearance. But for women, there's a whole array of things that they look for in a mate that builds into that attraction, builds into attraction. So like you might be a good looking guy, but your pictures suck, or your profile sucks, or you have like low value pictures, like that makes you not attractive, not necessarily just the way you look. So we had to kind of like get guys to learn that, set up better pictures, professional pictures, make themselves more attractive and all that other stuff. So like, that's kind of, and then the guys really enjoyed it. I get asked every day, like, are we re-releasing it? Which I don't think we are, guys. I'm sorry. But it was a great product and helped a lot of guys out figure this stuff out.
Yeah. I have a men's community. And in there, I talk to guys. We got a room called the Bird Trap. I took that name from like the British. They call women birds. And so one of the rooms we call the Bird Trap, and I talked about that in there. Me and another guy. I actually learned some stuff in there about like filtering women to what's it called, Instagram, and using Instagram together with your profile on online dating. But I tell guys that all the time. I said you have to have good photos. You don't have to be a guy, but you have to have professional photos that make you look good in a good light. They present you in a good light. The photographer knows how to present you as like you would a product. And so,
And I'll talk about Instagram a little bit because me and John, we literally have like, because we want to give guys like the best coaching that we can. So me and him always, I talk to John like almost every day about like, what are you noticing in Tokyo? What do you notice? And the good thing is like we both live in like 2 worldwide major cities where we're able to kind of like compare data and other guys in other like generals and John's team that we just like compare data because a lot of us live in major cities and we just like track trends and stuff like that. So of how the dating market has changed. But like the one thing that's like universal when I'm always talking with John is like Instagram is critical. Like I estimate within the next 5 to 10 years as a man, if you don't have an Instagram, girls are immediately gonna like they might just curve you off that because I'm already starting to see it now. If you don't have an Instagram, like a girl will be more reluctant to go out on a date with you. She's not gonna know you won't have that social proof. It'll be weird. Like if you don't have some kind of social media. And let's face it, Instagram is by far the the most popular dating app and most popular social media platform. 56% plus of Instagram users are women, and women get 5 times as many likes on that app than men do. So the game has changed, and like the girls standards have went up as well because they have access to like super high value guys. So dudes really got to step their game up and have their pictures right. Otherwise, you're going to get ostracized in the dating market. And I think a lot of guys are like slowly catching on that like pictures do matter. You have to be attractive. You need to have your Instagram page is kind of like a sales landing page where you demonstrate value. Because one thing that men don't understand about women, and I always got to drill this in guys' heads, is that women rate themselves based on each other's social media presence, whereas like men don't. Like if I go on your Instagram profile, I'm not going to be like, "Oh, Abu, you're a dork. I got more followers than you." Like, no. But with women, they really do like do that. You know what I'm saying? Like that, like because a lot of them are in it, into social media. So like, so for them, and the reason why I say that is because if they look at your profile and they see it's low value, they're gonna assume you're low value. You know what I mean? Despite the fact that you might make 6 figures or you might be successful, but your Instagram sucks, she's immediately gonna think this guy's fucking low value, not want to hang out with you. Whereas like another guy has a good Instagram set up with like good pictures, maybe him traveling, doing some demonstrations of higher value, he's going to get more play. He's going to get a better chance to like meet and go out with these women because they see his Instagram and they're like, okay, this guy could provide value. So I think that the guys got to understand that like if your Instagram sucks, you just work on making it better. If not, don't even give it. I tell guys that if you don't have a good IG setup, don't even give it because it can only hurt you if it's not optimized.
Nice. Well, I'll just talk about mine real quick. Just a weird thing that I got going on. Like on my very clean and nice looking Instagram, I got like 170 followers, and I'm not really sure I'm getting the results I want to get with it. I mean, because this is new to me, man. This got introduced to me by a guy, Bramson Pickle. The whole Instagram game. And on my Abuamerican, I'm like, I don't know, I'm pushing like about 1,700 followers. I don't know. And man, the response I get from women there, and I only drop crap memes on there. A lot of these memes, and not much else. And it's just weird because I get a better response there than I do on my Drunk on Drones one where I do my photography stuff in my travel. Because I travel and I do drone footage and I travel a lot. The response there is it's nice, but it's sort of like
doesn't come in. Yeah, man. Clout was everything in 2020, man. I've said it. Like if you got a blue check mark on Instagram, like that's a fucking game changer, man. Because I got a couple of friends, I'm not going to name them, but they have blue checks, and I would ask them on this low, like, "Hey, man, tell me some of the best perks about the elusive blue check," because it's very difficult to get one on Instagram, very difficult. And basically they told me one of the best perks is like girls answer your DMs every single time. They don't skip. They don't leave you unseen. Not most of the time. Like you'll get a response. You know what I mean? It's up to you to fuck it up. Cause like, if you DM a girl, like a hot girl that has like, even if you DM a girl that has like 1,000 followers, it's immediately going to go into the general inbox. She ain't going to see your shit. But when you got a blue check, I don't know what it is, but the algorithm pushes you up so that people see your stuff. And then also when you leave, I noticed like, I know everybody hates him, but like if you look at 6ix9ine, when he does his, he's a marketing genius. Like people can't take that away from him. His whole comeback after the prison thing, how he spun the fact that he's snitched to the feds and is profited off is amazing. Most rappers can't pull it off. But the point I want to make is when he goes live, I don't know if you guys notice, when he goes live and he has like literally almost 1 million people in there, the only comments that show up are the blue checkmark ones. And then if you look at the top comments on his Instagram, when he makes a post, 9 out of 10 times it's blue check mark people. So the Instagram algorithm 100% favors guys that have a blue check. Your posts have more reach. Your stuff is more seen. And if you got, clout is everything nowadays, especially in the dating market, the way it is. Because if you take an average girl, man, I was talking about this the other day. If you take like on Professor Rich's channel, if you take like an average girl and she makes an Instagram, she's gonna get 1,000 to 2,000 followers fairly easily without trying if she's attractive. So that's gonna push her up in the algorithm over like you versus a regular guy. You're gonna have to put a bunch of shit on your IG to get that far. You know what I'm saying? So it's a different game with IG now.
Yeah, that's something also we do in my men's communities. We like support one another, so we like counter follow each other, so our accounts go up and our numbers go up. It's not going to get you a blue check mark, but the higher the numbers, the better. So we kind of try
you got to have like to get a blue check. I've like looked it up, and it's like you gotta basically have like Wikipedia articles written about you. You had to have been on like TV. You basically, the litmus test I use is like, can someone like make a fake account and profit off of your status and or image? If the answer is yes, then you can probably get a blue check, because then you're probably a celeb. You have something that to like lose. So you have like a brand that's like well known. So that's like kind of how Instagram looks at it. Like that's because with the celebs, like people weren't able to figure out which IG page was like the real one. So then that's when like the verification stuff started. But now it's like a social thing versus like just verifying if a celeb is real.
Yeah. There's actually a system that's in place by by my online homie. I won't mention him, but he's got a whole course out on how to get your blue check. I need to go ahead and follow up and try and do that. I haven't tried it.
I mean, you don't have to have. So here's the thing: you don't have to have a lot of followers. You just have to be like popular, like people have written about you and stuff like that. So if you have like, even if you're like notorious, like Rouge V is an example, right? He doesn't have that many followers, right?
Yeah.
But I guarantee you, if he submitted himself to Instagram to get a verification, he would get it because of like all the books he's written, the controversial stuff that happened to him when he tried to go to do meetups in Canada and shit like that. So he'll get verified just off that, because there's a bunch of guys that have small followings, like athletes are professional. Perfect example. There's a bunch of like athletes that have like 1,000. I've seen guys like a couple hundred or 1,000 followers, and they'll get a blue check just because they're a professional athlete.
Rouge V, it's funny that you mentioned that with the meetups, man. That's like one of my first like early entries into like deep serious game. Is I was in London, and when he did like, I think it was the first meetup attempt, I was actually like a big follower of Rouge V. That's back when he was still in the game and everything. And when it got canceled, everybody in London was like, "Screw this, we're still meeting." And we went and we met. We turned into a pretty tight crew for a while, but things fell apart after a while, of course.
You did end up meeting Rouge V in person.
No, we never met him in person. I think that's
just the guys met up.
Yeah, just the guys met up. We met some of the guys, like one of his right-hand mans. He came to London, and I got to hang out with him. It was very interesting, eye-opening, like information came out of there and all that stuff. I can tell you the stories, but I don't know if it's interesting anymore. It's like kind of
I mean, Rouge V gets a bad rap, man, from a lot of people. I mean, I read his book, Game, the one he made recently. I think it came out like a year or two ago. I thought it was pretty good. Like his analysis of what's kind of going on in the world nowadays with dating. I don't like his methodologies, I don't think. I think his methodologies of approaching and gaming are a little dated, but what he's seen, through the evolution of how things have changed. I think he's spot on with that, and I enjoyed the book. It was good. I listened to it on Audible. Not Audible. Was it Audible? Amazon or something like that. It was voiced over by him, and I thought it was pretty good. But yeah.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah, no worries.
So let me ask you this. Now, when we go from game sims to pimps, tell me about that fitness, man. I seen some of your pictures on Instagram. You got guys like shrinking up and like getting ripped and
stuff. Yeah. So I kind of the same critical lens that I apply to dating. Giving guys the truth that like. Yes, guys, women are hypergamous. Yes, stop crying about it. Hypergamy is a good thing. That same like critical lens I use on dating, I apply to fitness as well. And the reality, because you're in good shape yourself, so that the fitness industry has a bunch of charlatans that are trying to sell people. I always say the fitness industry makes its money not on solutions, but on selling you a dream that you can get in shape quickly, you know, and we live in what I call a fast food society where everyone wants instant gratification. And the thing that people don't understand is that fitness does not adhere to that fast food mentality that you can get things quick and easy.
Yeah.
You know, it takes a lot of time and dedication, and most of the time you're going to have to give something up. And for me to get in the shape that I'm in now, I had to give up my social life a lot. And I can show some IG pictures of kind of like where I was, because everyone tends to think that like, oh, you were always in shape, you always look like that. And I'm like, on the contrary. Here, I can share my screen real quick. Let me do this.
Oh, please do.
Okay, I'm computer slow, guys, so bear with me for a second.
I'm looking.
I think I sent it. I sent it now. I think you have to authorize it.
Oh, okay. How do I do that? Oh, there it is.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I was like fat, guys. This is me like at one of my fattest stages. This is around 240 pounds, and then this is me like what I look like now. And you know, I pretty much did an experiment in 2014 to 2016 where I gained like, I went up to 250 pounds. I'm 6'3", so but you know, 250 pounds for me is like very fat. And I was able to lose the weight in about seven months. And then also I've been skinny as well, which yeah, here's another photo of me when I was fat as shit at around 250 pounds. You guys can see my gut is hanging and everything like that. And I don't advise anyone ever dirty bulk, because that shit is not fun, man. I did it like kind of see like, hey, I wonder what it's like to dirty bulk. And then this is me in 2008 after I graduated high school, and 10 years later in 2018, I was about 164 pounds in this video picture on the left, and then about 200 and 205 on the right. So, and I pretty much look like this right now. But the long story short is I've been skinny and I've been fat, and you know, it definitely it's always better to be in shape. Yeah. And the other thing I was going to say was, so I basically apply that same critical lens to fitness, like where I like to post studies. I tell people, you need to count your calories. You got to track macros if you want to make a top tier physique. You know, it's not about like stupid fat loss fads or diets or anything like that. You know, it comes down to a calorie deficit, training correctly, sleeping enough, consuming enough water. Are you eating vegetables? Are you getting enough protein? And the thing is that these things that that I tell my clients is like, these are all free. I can't really make money telling you these things, but the fitness industry, they're trying to sell you stupid supplements, drugs, whatever it may be. And I'm a lifetime natural, so I always advocate guys train naturally. And you know, I'm not going to knock guys that do use performance enhancing drugs or that use testosterone, because some guys need it. But I always tell like especially like the younger guys, like stay natural as long as you can, because you know you want to max out your natural potential before you do anything like that. And if you're not stepping on a stage trying to get a IFBB Pro card or something like that, 9 out of 10 times, guys, it's not worth it, man. Like, you know, just train natural, retain your gains, don't deal with the negative side effects that come with it, and you can make some excellent gains training naturally. It's just that people aren't patient and they don't implement the correct procedures to get those gains naturally.
Yeah. You know, I did 2 actual steroid courses in my lifetime. I mean, full-blown steroid courses. And it's not like cut and dry. It's not black and white, and it's not easy. You still got to go in the gym. You still got to
you
work.
do, yeah.
You know, you got to eat properly and everything. This is
Absolutely.
in my late 30s. I was about like 38, and then I did another one when I was about like 40 to 41 or 42. I can't remember exactly, but roughly in those areas. It was about a year apart. And yeah, it's a lot of work. You still got to go in there. You still got
to train
hard, you know, and getting results. And it's like anything. You hit a plateau. Even when you're on roids, there comes a point where you like hit a plateau, and it's just you got to go and you got to work even harder to break through it. You know, so it's not like, guys, there's no shortcut. There's no shortcut.
Because even if you're on drugs, you still got to observe like proper training, proper nutrition. You got to get everything on. You just got to get everything on point in general. The thing is, when you're on drugs, your capacity to recover increases significantly, so you can put your body through more. That's why guys on drugs grow so fast. It's not because the drugs make them grow. It's because they're able to train harder, train longer, and train more, do more volume more frequently than the natural guy, and their ability to recover from that is increased. So therefore, they get gains at a significant rate versus like a natural guy whose ability to recover is because you don't grow in the gym, guys. You always grow outside the gym. So the ability to recover is what's critical, and where so many guys fuck up, because a lot of guys go to the gym and train and eat well and all this other crap, but they wonder, oh, why am I not changing? Well, you're probably not optimizing your recovery.
Yeah, and that's another thing. It's like, you know, the what do you say, the opportunity to get fat onwards is actually quite high. People don't understand it. Like,
Yeah.
you're recovering super fast, you're building muscle super fast. You are hungry really bad a lot, and you know,
no, that's a fact.
Yeah. So I was smashing like tons and tons of chicken and beef, you know, trying to stave off the hunger. And some days, man, it didn't work. You could just eat all day and all night, and it's just like, you know, it's no fun. Let me just say that the gains are nice, they look good, they feel good, and what I like the most out of it all, and I'm not even promoting it. I always say guys should wait in their life to do it later in their life if you're going to do it. It's not necessary. Is man, you got to crap a lot because you got to eat so much. You know what I'm saying? But the thing I like most about it is the cognitive increase. That's one thing that that comes out of all of it. You get like a sharper mind from it. Because testosterone, of course, we know is the male body drug. It's the super, you know, the super fuel or whatever you want to call it. You know, for the male body. And yeah, that cognitive sharpness is something that comes out of it that I love the most. But you know, there's a lot of misinformation out there about going on it and trying to shortcut it. Yeah, you can shortcut it, but you can only shortcut it if you're a hard worker, you know, and if you're not a hard worker, you're not going to get anything out of it. I saw guys in Qatar, you know, they go down there, they start just injecting like crazy, and they're like, I'm not getting any changes. Guys in the gym like twice a week, like,
yeah, 100%. You gotta definitely, you gotta be on your P's and Q's if you're gonna go down that road, man. So it's like, you know, that's not something you do, you know, that's not something you do unless you have like at least 5 to 10 years, you know, under your belt. Oh, that's a pretty good question, Suleiman. Is there some foods that you definitely always avoid? Pork is one. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, I don't eat pork. But even as much, yeah, that's like, you can't kick a dead horse, right? If I'm doing all these other, if I fuck up in other things, the least I could do is not eat pork. But the foods that I always avoid, man. So here's the thing. This is a good question because really there is no food. Okay, see, now guys are commenting on sugar. All right, guys, I'm gonna fill you guys in on some stuff. So sugar is not the enemy, and there are really no bad foods. I know that sounds crazy, but you can eat anything in moderation. Because here's the real problem: it's not the sugar that's making you fat, guys. It's the calorie surplus and the lack of exercise that makes you fat. Because here's the thing: if you eat, and they've done studies on this too, where they've controlled calories and they've fed people foods that are quote unquote unhealthy, and people lose weight and their health markers still improve. So it's the fat loss that causes the positive health benefits. It's not necessarily the food. So losing weight by default is going to improve your health markers. So the problem why sugar gets a bad rap is because sugar 9 out of 10 times comes in foods that are low satiating, right? So like if you eat a food that's super high in sugar, cake, candy, whatever it may be, treats, whatever, well, it's like 500, 1,000 calories a serving, but you're going to still feel hungry after eating it. So what's going to happen? You're going to be more prone to overeat other foods, therefore putting yourself in a surplus, therefore gaining weight. Because make no mistake about it, gaining weight and losing weight always comes down to energy balance, calories in versus calories out. You know, it's the basic principles of, you know, thermodynamics. So like if you, excuse me. So the reason why a lot of people get fat eating sugar is because they're eating that sugar on top of what they're already eating. And I always look at it like your caloric allotment for the day is your budget. So if you haven't paid your rent or like, you know, your food bill or anything like that, but you go ahead and drop $2,000 on a Lamborghini payment, right? Well, now you just fucked up because you don't have your ducks in a row on the things that really matter. And that's what a lot of people do with sugar is they basically go over their budget eating sugary foods that are high in calories. Because you look at bananas, you look at fruits, you know, hell, I eat these things all the time, like these dried mangoes. These are high in sugar, but I don't get fat. Why is that? Well, because I'm controlling calories. So it's the calories that are most important. And I know the next follow-up is, oh, well, what about insulin and all this other shit? So guys, there's a bunch of food that spikes your insulin. You know, whey protein actually spikes your insulin a lot. You know what I mean? But insulin spikes don't make you fat if calories are still controlled. You know, and they've done studies on this too, where like whey protein spikes your insulin more than like a traditional carbohydrate meal. So what it really comes down to is controlling calories. And then I know someone else is probably going to talk about. I'm going to film a video on this on YouTube because I always get asked about glycemic index, insulin, etc. The glycemic index, guys, is pretty much null and void because what they do with the glycemic index is they're feeding you carbohydrate by itself. and then they see how it spikes their insulin, and then that rates higher or lower on the glycemic index. But if you eat protein with that sugary meal, it almost blunts those crazy insulin spikes. So you shouldn't be eating carbohydrates by themselves anyway. You should be eating them with some kind of conjunction of protein, whether it's like you're having a protein bar, meat, whatever it may be. So the carbohydrate insulin model of obesity, guys, it's basically a myth, and it's been debunked many, many times. So now, am I saying go out there and eat sugar and Pop-Tarts and all that? No. But what I am saying, it's not the sugar and Pop-Tarts making you fat. It's the excess calories. So just be intelligent about what you're consuming calorie-wise. And then sugar is like an afterthought.
Okay. Wow. You just dropped it, dude. I'm like, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I get asked this all the time. So like, I just, because a lot of people like to demonize sugar. And like what I did was I just took a bunch of research and looked it up and posted about it. I got a post on it on my Instagram. Actually, I'll share my screen real quick for the guys that are interested.
Yeah, please do. One thing I did is because I suck at like just going out and doing cardio. Something I probably need to do more. I need to get my cardio in order. And anyway, I set up back here. You can't see it, but like hold on, this right here. Let's look at this first.
Yeah, it's right. This is the post here where I talked about it, and it's actually funny. I'm wearing like a Hawaiian shirt. I got some guns on the table and like a bunch of basically Pablo Gaines. You know what I mean? I'm selling a bunch of sugar because like it's like the thing. But yeah, I talk about here sugar addictive, and then on this one I talk about the carbohydrate insulin model that people like to talk about all the time. How to eat sugar without becoming a fat fuck on Valentine's. But sorry, you were gonna ask something. You said you were doing like cardio.
Yeah, I've been. I set up I set up a punching bag in my back room for cardio because it's like, for me, just going out and running and doing, high interval, HIIT, that's like, man, it's so tough for me. I'm old, man. I'm almost 50. Knees be hurting sometimes, But
it's good that you're getting after it, man, at your age, bro. Because like a lot of guys use that as an excuse, and they're like, "Oh, I can't." You know what I'm saying?
But I noticed that I put on, especially during the Rona and the gyms were closed and everything. Man, I got real comfortable, started eating trash food, and it's like I just got back into the gym, getting my swole on again. I'm sweating like crazy. I'm getting my swole on, but it's like I still got like I have a before and after picture, and I don't have it on the PC. I was looking for it to show you. It's like actually kind of like a chubby guy, and I like cut down. So I'm trying to cut down again. And man,
how are the gyms in Germany right now? Like, are they still closed?
We're open, man. We're almost back to normal.
Okay, awesome. No, that's good because Miami, we're still behind the curve. We're like the last city in Florida to do anything. Like our bars still aren't open. Restaurants still have like pretty strict rules. Like you can go there and eat and stuff, but they have masks on when they serve you and stuff like that. So yeah, Miami is like definitely still last and getting over this thing.
They're pretty much like back to normal, except that you have to wear masks inside of stores and restaurants. Well, not restaurants now. They dropped that also.
Same here.
You gotta wear a mask when you're going shopping and shopping malls, whatever else. Other than that, everything's back to normal.
Yeah, so, you can't. Yeah, you can't go to like here. You can't go to CVS or like a grocery store without a mask on. They'll like kick you out, which I think is hilarious. But like other parts of Florida, up north, like West Palm Beach, Sarasota, Tampa, all that. Apparently, like they're just no mask, no nothing. It's like they're back to like 100%. So yeah, this Corona thing was fucking. It was terrible, man.
It was ridiculous, man. It was a waste of time to top it off. I guess it's supposed to beat to death, but it's just clown show stuff, bro. Really.
And this is gonna go down in history, though. You know what I mean? The world was shut down for like 3 months. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was literally shut down for like 3 months.
Yeah, over the flu.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, over the flu.
Madness.
So, yeah, man.
So when you're talking to like, now I got a Muslim crowd. Obviously, I got a lot of guys that are looking to do multiple things. They're looking to get married, or they're looking to marry another wife. It's always a problem where to drum up these sisters, how, what, where, whatever.
Where to find them, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
what
dude.
kind of advice can you give to a guy? What would you give to the average Muslim guy who's just out here, and here's the thing also. It's like a lot of guys, man, I don't know how to say this like without like, ruffling feathers. Let's just say it. Let's just be, most Muslim guys are beta blue pill. Let's just be like that. Let's just be straight. And they want to live the alpha lifestyle of having multiple wives. What's your advice, the general advice from what you're looking at with Muslims? Drop it.
I would say, so number one, and this is going to sound crazy, but like you got to self-improve first. So like what I've learned is that the reason why like, I can like make these like crazy demands or whatever is because I have a lot of confidence. And that confidence, like with men, our confidence comes from like accomplishing things. So for guys to like be able to like demand that performance from women, that they comply to their rules, they respect their leadership. Because I've always said it, like a woman is most happy when she's with a man that she loves and respects, and she can defer to his authority. And the only way she's gonna feel comfortable and submit and defer to your authority, because guys want girls to submit, but they don't have anything to bring to the table. So like you have to be a catch yourself, where she's scared to lose you, then she's gonna submit and follow your lead. But that comes from the self-improvement first. So, if you're a fat fuck, whatever, you're broke, you got to fix that first. And then once you have that fixed and you got the foundation set, then you can start making these kinds of demands and requirements of your women. And then if you're trying to find like a wife, don't come to Miami. I'll tell you that. You got to go, you got to go somewhere else where, and I know a lot of guys like to do this. They like to go what I call wife shopping internationally, which I guess if you want to do that, you can. But if but women are women, guys. Like they're the same everywhere. They're hypergamous and all this other stuff. You're not gonna, women always want to date up. It's natural for them. I feel like a lot of guys demonize them for that, but it's like that's no different than like us liking girls with long hair and slim waists and nice butts and breasts. You know what I mean? Like it's a natural thing. It's just that a lot of guys don't like the fact that hypergamy kind of puts them in a position where they have to self-improve. They have to change themselves on a positive note, and it defeats a lot of like Disney tale narratives that like, oh, you're fine the way you are, and you just be yourself. And it's like, nah, man, you got to become confident and become better to like really get these girls. So first I would say you got to be better yourself so that you can exert these demands. And then second, go somewhere that's more conducive to like where, how do I say this? That's more conducive to a good relationship. And like, this is going to be controversial, but I'm going to say it. Because my parents always told me this shit, and I'm like realizing it now, because they were right. Western society teaches a lot of women bad habits that are not conducive to a good long-term relationship. Like feminism has kind of like demonized masculinity and made it so that like if a woman does anything that serves her man, she's kind of like shamed for it. You know what I mean? Like if she cooks, if she cleans, if she does any of these traditional roles, like they're like, what are you, a fucking slave? Like, what's wrong with you? And they'll like kind of like demonize women for it. But like the problem, why feminism is kind of like hilarious is because they still want all the traditional benefits of being in a relationship with a man. However, they still want that protection. They still want that provisioning, and they still want a guy that makes more money than them. Women just still date up. Even if you look at the most successful feminist woman, she's going to still want a guy on her level or makes more money. So they still expect traditional gender roles from the men while not being able to adhere to their own as a woman. They want all the benefits of chivalry without the responsibilities that come with it as being a lady. So since a lot of people observe that crazy mindset, right, it's dangerous. I'm not going to say it's dangerous, but like you're going to have to be comfortable with, if you meet a girl here, you're going to have to probably train those bad habits out of her. And she's only going to sit there and listen to you as the boyfriend and your demands and your training if she respects you. So it all builds upon itself. And then you basically want to get a girl that is willing to learn, that comes from a good background, that, I'm not saying these are going to be like, oh, she's going to be perfect, but it's like your chances of failure go down if you find a girl that like has these virtuous traits. She came from both parents. She respects her father. She doesn't do drugs. She doesn't like drink excessively. She respects herself. Like these are all things. Obviously, you could still get the wool pulled over your eyes, but this is why you have to be aware. You have to date around. You have to like figure this stuff out so you can find these red flags, no matter how subtle they are. But yeah, you're gonna have to get, if you're gonna find a girlfriend here, you're gonna have to get comfortable with like the fact that you're gonna have to be a leader and teach her how to be a good girlfriend, because unfortunately, feminism has like made a lot of girls unfit for a relationship with a man that is worth a fucking damn. That's the reality. Yeah. People don't like hearing that shit, but that's that's really how it is. That's why relationships are in the shitter. You look at any country where feminism is like super strong, the divorce rates are astronomical. They're like 60% divorce rates or plus. That's not even counting the people that are just separated. And then 80% of divorces are initiated by women. Why is that? Because they're clearly not satisfied with the men. The men are fucking up.
Yeah. This is funny. You're talking about like, the gender roles and whatnot of the household and how like women need proper training and upbringing, basically. And I met this African girl. I call her African. She says she's African origin, but she's like a German citizen.
Okay.
And she got funneled to my Instagram from like one of the
Hey.
online matrimonial. She started talking to me on Instagram.
Abuamerican out here pimping it, bro. You guys don't know. Like Abu is like really, really good with the ladies. He like doesn't let that on the internet, but he's like really good, man.
26 too. So
Yeah.
anyway, and here I am 48. I'm like,
And other guys are over here crying. These black people guys, I can't get girls.
oh,
You know what I mean? It's like, bro, look at Abu. He's older and he's doing his fucking thing, man. It's not all just looks and money and all this other shit. You got to know what you're doing as well. Sorry, bro. Go ahead.
So she was like, I was like, what's going on? How you doing? Talking back and forth. It comes into like her work and whatnot. It's like, what you doing? She's like, nothing right now. She's like, because of the Rona. And she said, but I am housekeeping, paid housekeeping. I was like, oh, I got a housekeeping job for you. And she was like, oh, is that all a wife is to you? So I'm like, you crazy broad. You go out and work for somebody for a paycheck, to go get a housekeeping, doing housekeeping. But the idea of doing it for your husband, now all of a sudden it becomes a problem. You're just throwing some sort of weird congruence test at me. But it was just kind of like.
Yeah, bro. And the thing is that like, and shout out to Eat Lift program, Josh. He's one of the guys in John's community, one of the generals. Thanks for for joining the stream, bro. But what I was gonna say was, yeah, man, this comes back to what I'm saying. Like it's hilarious because like, so let's say like women believe in like this equalism, right, in a relationship, and it just doesn't work, guys. Because if we were equal, all right, someone breaks into the fucking house. Last I checked, I'm not going to look at my girl and say, hey, you got this one? Can you handle this? Like, no, I'm going to get up and deal with the problem, right? So if I say, hey, baby, can I get a sandwich? She shouldn't fucking give me an attitude about it. And that's not on some like sexist shit or whatever. It's that, I'm your protector, I'm your provider, I'm your provisioner. And here's the thing. If a woman wants to work, I think it should be her choice. She shouldn't have to. Like as a guy, you should be able to support your woman. And if she decides to work and make that extra income for the family, she could do so. But she should always have the option to not work. And deep down, that's why a lot of girls want they date a guy higher than them on the financial scale, because they want that luxury to know, hey, if I need to take time off for the children or whatever, I can. So, and there's nothing wrong with that.
They're afraid to admit it.
Yeah,
I would dare say they want that, but they're afraid to admit it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, they're afraid to admit it because like nowadays, like women get shamed. Men get shamed for being masculine and women get shamed for being feminine. Like if a woman does her boyfriend's laundry or cooks him food or whatever, like her friends are immediate, and it's always her fucking single friends too that say this shit. Like they're gonna say, "What, are you a slave? Like he doesn't own you and all this other shit." And that is like that's, and this is why. So me and John talk about this all the time. Guys have game and girls have game. Guy game is being able to attain a woman, right? Like being able to attain and attract a woman. Girl game is being able to retain a man. For us, it's attain. For them, it's retain. And the reason why a lot of these girls can't fucking retain a guy is because they don't want to hold up their end of the feminine bargain. They want all the benefits that come with the chivalry without holding up their end. So like most guys, even the most blue pill betas, were going to be like, oh, fuck this. This deal sucks. Like, I'm doing all this and I'm doing all this stuff for her as her boyfriend. And she doesn't even want to cook and clean. She gives me an attitude every time. Cause like, the thing is that she should naturally do it for you. You should never have to ask her, can you cook or can you clean? It should be like a fucking given. And looking back as an adult now, the reason why my parents are still together is the house was always clean. My mom always had food for my dad. If my dad went to work without lunch, my mom would start having anxiety. She would like legitimately start having anxiety, bro. Like she'd be like, "Oh my god, what?" And she'll like, if she didn't wake up, so like she didn't wake up like in the morning to cook it or whatever, and he just left. She would like cook it and like send my ass or somebody to go give it to him. So like that is like the deep level of respect and love my mom had for my dad, and that's why they're together today. And what people, the mistake people make is you want to listen to these dumbass female dating coaches that can't even hold a boyfriend around, telling you all these stupid strategies on how to get a guy. Talk to the women that are married. That's what you need to do. Talk to the women that are married, that have been married for 10 plus 20 years, and they're going to have universal traits. And almost always they're going to say, I serve my husband, I support my husband, and I don't fucking give him a hard time about it. Because no guy wants to listen to a girl nag for making him food or like making him, that's like me saying, I went to work today just so I can provide for you, which if you're a guy and you do that to your girl, you're also a loser as well. But it goes both ways. But yeah, man, it's just like women are shamed for like doing traditional feminine things, which is it's ridiculous. And that's why we live in the clown world we have now, where no one can find a happy relationship.
That's the missus.
Oh, thank you, Miss Abuamerican. Appreciate it. Yeah, she would legit have anxiety if the house was dirty. She'd go nuts, man. So she took her duty that seriously. But she was cut from a different cloth. Where they grew up in Sudan and stuff. And as well as like a lot of Middle Eastern countries. If a woman can't cook or clean, she's like they shame the fuck out of her. What are you talking about? You don't cook or any of this stuff. It's the opposite. Feminists shame women that like cook and clean here. There, it's like if you can't do it, they're like, oh well, you're gonna have a hard time finding a husband.
I think the thing is, I don't know if I said this in my group or not, but I think you got to go further and further east to actually find an appropriate woman these days. I had a Polish girl on the team for a while, and she actually was traditional, type of family and background. Even though she was very westernized, of course, she lived in London for a decade when I met her. It didn't take much training to get her back to the baseline of how she was raised. And I was quite satisfied. So she would cook, she would clean, whatever else. But when the relationship first started, she was serious hardcore on the shit test. She was like, come make your own plate. I'm like, woman, you're in the kitchen. Go ahead, make a plate and bring it in here. And it's like, I leave the dishes on there. I leave them on the table. And she's like, you're going to watch this. Like, no, I ain't. I'm smashing you right now. And then I'm going to sleep. And then I'd wake up in the morning, come back, and the dish would be gone and clean. And after a while, it just stopped being a conversation. And she was just in line. She cooked, she cleaned. She never questioned, what do you want to eat? This, that, the other. That was it. But, when you look at these Western women in general, man, you're never going to come to that baseline because it's never there. It's never been a starting point.
Yeah. Yo, that you brought up a great point, man. This is why it's important. If the girl has a foundation and she's trainable, then you can do it kind of like you did, right? With that rock iron frame. And she ended up okay, because she was just testing to see, your congruency of what you purported, and you showed that you were congruent. She's like, okay, I'm gonna submit. But a lot of girls, nowadays, they just don't even have that foundation. It's completely foreign to them to do any of that. And honestly, that comes from broken families. If a girl comes from a strong family where her father was in her life, or her mother, both of her parents were together the entire time, 9 out of 10 times the reason the parents were together was because they helped each other. They support each other, and she's gonna look and admire that. And then when she meets you, she's gonna want to replicate that success from watching her parents. But if she didn't, she grew up in a single parent household, whatever it may be, then all this stuff is going to be foreign to her because she doesn't know what it takes to attract and more importantly retain a man, because she's going to just watch what her mom did. And let's make no mistake about it, single parent households are a huge contributor to the all the kids that are fucked up nowadays. You look at criminals, violent criminals, felons, degenerates, homeless people, drug addicts, alcoholics, etc. They almost always come from single parent households. And let's face it, who gets custody of the children 90% of the time? It's the mom. So, and a mom can't raise children on her own. She's the nurturing one. After a certain age, the father's the one raising the child. After 8, 9, 10 years old, then the father comes in and he's really raising them because he's negatively reinforcing bad behavior. And I always say a strong father keeps sons out of jail and daughters off stripper poles, because your dad is supposed to discipline you and reinforce that this behavior is not tolerated in society. And I'm going to nip this in the butt now because I don't want the fucking police and the state to do this later. And it's going to fuck you up and have long-term consequences. That's where the father comes in. He beats your ass first so the police don't. You know what I'm saying? And you see what's going on here all over the world with law enforcement getting into these altercations. So you need that strong father to be, to stop you from doing a dumb shit. And I man, looking back now as an adult, man, if my dad wasn't there, I'd probably be a degenerate myself. I would have probably not taken school seriously, maybe smoked weed, done stupid shit. And then what happens when you do that? You're setting yourself up for a downward spiral. So parents, and and it's Father's Day too, which is great. I'm going to call my dad later and say Happy Father's Day. But yeah, man, men are fathers are 100% needed because they need to discipline the kids. They can't. And the other thing too is a mom can't teach a boy to become a man. She just can't. She just can't. That's why we have all these soft guys running around that are fucking pussies because they were raised by a woman, and a woman cannot teach a boy how to become a man. It's just, she just can't do it. You need both parents. You need both.
Yeah. I could talk about that in depth because I'm a father of 9, and what you said, you actually dropped something that was very profound there. It's people's the models of reproductive success are broken. You know, they come from broken families, messed up families, and so their model of reproductive success is also broken. And I mean, as a father of 9, I could say that, like, you know, the importance of having a father around is just significant. I just had this conversation actually yesterday. I think it was. Yeah, it was yesterday. Friday. Excuse me. My ex is my neighbor downstairs, and my kids live down there. And one of my sons, he just turned 18, and she's like, you know, I can't get him to do this, I can't get him to do this, I can't get him to do that. And I was like, tell him to come outside, you know. And I was going shopping, whatever. I took him around. I just talked to him. I said, look, man, it's like, you got to get your stuff together. You got to do like this. You got to do like this, like this. You know, we can set structure and frame that they will listen to. You know, and I was like, look, if you screw this up, I'm giving you one at a time, you know, opportunity, this, that, the other, whatever. You know, I just gave him the breakdown. And for him, it was just like, all right, I'm gonna do it. But his mom, she tried to talk to him, and he's just like, eh.
It's true, bro. Like, so here's the thing that you just brought up a great point. Once I got to like 12, like between like 12 and like 16, like if my mom told me to do something, like now she physically can't really, she used to, because I used to get beat as a kid, you know, but once I hit a certain age, like I wasn't scared of my mom, like, fuck, you gonna slap me? All right, whatever, I'll eat those, you know, like Scooby snacks. But like, but when she would threaten, I'm gonna tell your father, then I was like, fuck, okay, all right, you know what I mean? Or if I did fuck up and I talked back to my mom, then my dad would come and whoop my ass. So that fear was always there. And here's the thing: fear cannot exist without respect. You know, you even though people say, "Oh, it's negative," fear is a negative thing. Well, fear is good sometimes, because for fear to exist, respect needs to be there. So I was scared of my dad growing up, and that fear and that respect led me to like follow their rules. And then, you know, and yeah, because like a woman, like at a certain age, the boy becomes bigger. He might even hit his mom back. You know, I never hit my mom back, obviously, but you know, I just knew that I wasn't scared of her anymore. She couldn't do nothing to me physically. So you always need the dad there to be like, you know, the equalizer. Like, what'd you say? Boom, just beat the shot.
Yeah, you know, the beauty is, like I set up in my background here, I was telling you about the cardio and the boxing and whatever else. Sorry, Taj Sid, man, I'm not really sure what you mean there. Apple, didn't you say you had a girl who would need? Yeah. Okay, Taj, I'll talk on that later. Okay, now I remember what you're talking about. Yes, I did. Actually, no. Let me address this right now. So Taj brought up something that I almost forgot about this story, and this is a good example of like corrupted and dysfunctional models of reproductive success.
Oh yeah, that's what you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah. I had the Somali girl that I married in Qatar. The girl was like drop dead beautiful, man. I mean, she was like a supermodel, beautiful. I mean, she was unbelievable. And she used to always have to physically fight before we could actually like have sex. And I couldn't make sense of that until one day she told me like her parents and their story. And her parents were like real abusive physically to one another. And that was her model of reproductive success. In order to have a marriage and stay together and be happy, whatever else, you had to like fight each other, you know, in order to get down. And so it's just the weirdest dynamic, man, because this woman would come at me hard, you know. I mean, I had to get stitches in my toe. She threw this teapot at me and it cut my toe. I had to get stitches in my toe, tried to cut my toe
Holy
off.
shit, dude.
Freaking crazy chick.
Was
man.
she actually from Somalia, or was she like from
Somalia? And she like from her teens up until like adult age, she grew up in Qatar. You know, and
oh
she
my
was,
god, bro.
Man, it was a mess though, you know. I mean, she was a hot mess, man. She had a lot of problems. I mean, I see why the family was so easy to give her to me, you know, because generally
yeah, no, that's how it goes. That's how it goes. For anyone in here that doesn't understand, a girl cannot in the Islamic faith, because I know we got a lot of guys here that might not be Muslim. In the Islamic faith, basically the father's got to sign off on the daughter going and being with the man. So the family basically, as a collective, gives the daughter to the male counterpart, but the man's got to prove that he has like excess resources, he could take care of her, whatever, and then boom, they get married. And you're Muslim already, so you're good. But like if the guy wasn't Muslim, he would have to convert, whatever it may be. So you know, it's not as foreign as you guys think. But yeah, so that's what you're saying. They basically gave you a bill of bad goods.
I say it all the time, and I know people get mad at me for saying it, but I'm gonna be honest, man. 9 times out of 10, when you deal with, I'm gonna call it cultural Muslims, people who were born and raised in Muslim families from Muslim countries, they ain't trying to give their women to reverts and converts like me. They're just
That's
not
true.
trying to.
It's true.
And
yeah.
so if they do, you should be like, what's going on?
Have a side eye. No, that's a fact, bro. That's a fact. Like, yeah. Like, you know, it's not the same as if like let's put the elephant in the room. You know, from me coming from a Arab background, I know this for sure. Like, it's not the same as like some Saudi Arabian guy coming in and saying, "Hey, I want to marry your daughter," you know, whatever. Like if it's a convert, they're gonna be a little bit more cautious, you know,
Yep.
because they don't know if it's authentic. Like, did you really switch over? Do you pray? And it's crazy because they hold converts to higher standards than, like, you know, a guy that was born Muslim that might not be, you know, as devout. So that's a really good, that's something that's not spoken about in the Islamic faith. And you have to be in it and be a part of it to, like, know, you know, yeah.
Going back to the story about sons. So
Yeah.
now I used to fight, you know, not professionally, but I used to fight regularly. I used to do like boxing, Muay Thai, you know, jiu-jitsu, whatnot. And so now I'm training my sons. And so now that they understand that they can actually see and they can say like, oh, my dad is actually dangerous. He ain't, he ain't bullshit, you know.
It's gonna make
like,
them respect you even more.
You know, he knows how to punch, he knows how to slide, he knows all the moves, you know what I mean? He can really take a dude out. And they see me in a boxing club here locally anyway. I'm usually the sparring partner, like state champions here. You know, I'm in the state of Saarland. I'm the sparring partner for these guys at the boxing club generally. So they know I can kick rear. So there's no like, I can, like, you know, not listen to my dad, and if he doesn't, you know, he's not gonna punch me in the chin, it's not gonna hurt.
Yeah.
No. Like, it's like, look, man, if I hit you,
dude, I'm all for beating children, bro. I think I don't go fuck what anybody says. You need to whoop your kids' asses, man. Because the thing with children is that they're not gonna learn from you, you know, just verbally telling them don't fucking do that or putting them in timeout or anything. Like, no, man. To this day, I remember times when my dad used to beat my ass, and I will never do those things. When I was living in New York City as a kid, I remember we were like throwing fruit out the window one time. And you know, and that was kind of dangerous because if you throw fruit out the window, it was like harmless, like it wouldn't hurt anybody, but, like, you know, it could, right? It has the potential that it could. My dad looked up, he saw us throwing the fruit. He fucking came upstairs, bro. He whooped me and my sister's ass so bad, and I remember that beating to this day. But you know what? I never did that shit again. I never did anything stupid like it again. And, you know, I learned the hard way. You know that but like whooping a kid's ass is going to, like, just like when you burn. Okay, so when there's a stove, right? You put your hand on the stove and you're like, ah, shit, right? You're not gonna do it again because that memory is tied to, like, extreme pain. So and for kids, that's like critical because, like, there's no better way to remember things than by that negative reinforcement of pain. So people want to say all this shit like, oh, you abuse your children, all that shit like that. My dad beat me, right? And I'm fucking proud of it. And I'm telling you guys that I'm a better man because of it. You know, he wasn't out here abusing me. He used to, when I fucked up, he whooped my ass, and as deservedly so. And that's why we got so many men now that don't have integrity, don't have discipline, whatever, because there's no consequences to their bad behaviors, you know. And I've been able to apply those beatings to other endeavors, right? So, like, now, like, if I want to work out or I need to eat correctly or whatever it may be, like, my dad instilled that discipline in me from whooping my ass, that I understand that there are consequences to bad behaviors. But a lot of guys never get that reinforcement that they need, and they end up becoming soft. So sorry, Abu, I think you were going to say something.
No. I'm just saying that's sad. That's sad. I do want to address this right here. I want to, you know, Sensei David Pitts, man. What's that all about? I don't think I can get married again after divorces. David, let me tell you something, man. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you got legal marriages, and so you got ran through the ringer. I mean, I've had like between 9 and 11 marriages. I don't even remember anymore, man. I've been married left to right, bro.
And the Islamic faith, it's way, I guess, for the listeners in here that might not know, guys, in the Islamic faith, it's fairly simple. You just go down to the mosque, the imam just, you know, blesses it off, and you're good. Like, you guys are married. It's not like a formal thing where, you know, you're signing paperwork or doing this other thing. It's basically so that, you know, it basically blesses the marriage so that, like, you guys can be intimate without it being like haram. That's how you get married in the Islamic faith. Because I think a lot of people have this connotation that, like, when you say, oh, I have 5 wives or whatever, it's like, oh, you did 5 weddings, dude? Holy shit, that must cost you a lot of money. It's like, no, guys, it's not the same as Western weddings and Western relationships. There's no paperwork, nothing. It's just the imam blesses it off and it's good. It becomes halal.
And I tell guys that all the time. It's like, you know, stick to these halal marriages. Don't get a legal marriage. I don't think that's it's not viable in the West anymore, you know.
Yeah, to this day, my parents aren't, like, legally married with the state. You know, they're not. You know, they're married Islamically, and that's it. And that's all they care about. That's what anyone cares about anyway. So,
man, increase them. I mean, that's like beautiful, man.
Yeah, thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
That's amazing. Yeah. So we've been here for like an hour and 10 minutes. Anybody got any questions, man? We can close this down or whatever. Now, I want to talk to Myron a bit in the background. You know, some stuff that ain't got nothing to do with y'all. But if y'all got questions, go ahead and drop them now. You got to be quick. Otherwise,
this one was a good one, man, because there's not many. And I was talking about this earlier, guys. With Abu, like, there's not many content creators that like that are Muslim like him that like can give both perspectives, because Abu is obviously a convert, so he wasn't always Muslim, so he can give kind of both perspectives. So it's a really unique and nice way to go by. So like I was like, man, we got to jump on a podcast and talk about this stuff and dispel a lot of myths, because like there's a lot of people that just think like Muslims like just we're just like doing all this crazy shit. It's like, no, it's not that serious. Oh, does Myron recommend any martial arts and which ones? I don't do martial arts myself, man. I noticed that it interferes with my training because I'm just trying to look good naked. But if you are going to do martial arts, I suggest you do boxing, because boxing is like, that's going to be the most practical in like any real combat situation, realistically. Like, I know a lot of guys like to do Brazilian jiu-jitsu and all that stuff. That's cool. But like, if you truly want to learn how to defend yourself, you probably want to learn how to fight standing up, because being on the ground is dangerous, and you never want to do that. You're not in control of a lot of things. And more importantly, you can't fucking run, guys. Like, you need to be able to run if need be, because in a street fight, things aren't fucking fair. If a weapon is produced, if other attackers come, if you're in a situation where you need to get out quickly, you want to learn how to like master your hands and box and get the fuck out of there. So if you are going to learn a combat sport, I would do boxing. I wouldn't do Krav Maga or any of this other shit, trying to learn how to grab knives out of people's hands and shit. Like, bro, it's not practical, bro. You're not Jason Statham. The fuck out of here, man.
Krav Maga, man. Let me tell you something about a story. Before we go to this next one, man. I went to London when I was living in London. I used to go with Becky. This is my Polish girl. I call her Becky. She's hardcore. Like, she's a personal trainer. She's very fit, very ripped, had like 6-pack abs, everything. I hated it, but man, I did. I actually made her put on weight. I was like, look, you got to gain some weight. I said, I can't be like, having sex with you and feel like I'm wrestling with
banging a dude. Yeah.
It feels like fighting a 16-year-old boy in jiu-jitsu. I'm like, girl, I mean, she was a good, anyway. She's always going, my God. I showed up there, man. I trashed everybody in the freaking room.
Fucked them up, right? Yeah.
Open sparring. And I was just like, now it's like these heel hooking dudes, taking them down and throwing them around, doing takedowns. And I was like, what are these dudes doing here? I was like, you've been doing Krav Maga for like 3 years straight. And I'm like, I come into the door and just like throw you around like a rag doll. It's utter BS, man.
Yeah, it's just not practical for real life fight situations, especially like, and it's kind of dangerous because they encourage you to like, get weapons back from people, bro. Yeah. There's stabbings in London every fucking day, man. Like, the world. So I wouldn't. Nah, man. Someone produces a weapon, you fucking run or get a weapon yourself. You don't sit there and try to. You don't fight even, man. You don't. Especially in a street fight where there's like constant death can be a consequence. Taj has a question here. Yeah. Shout out to Taj Sid. How would you advise a guy who's getting arranged marriage, possibly from overseas, to maintain frame and not get screwed? Abu, this is 100% you. Go ahead.
Man, you know what? I've been on this for a minute, man. I can't remember who put me on into it first, but it's like there's no like what's the word? There's no greener pastures when it comes to women. We see this with like, I can't remember what that TV show is, but there's that like big fat guy and he went to like the Philippines to mess with that like that Filipino girl. If you're a sucker, you're a sucker. If you're a sucker in the West, you're a sucker in the Philippines. If you're a sucker in the UK, you're in Pakistan. If you're worried about frame in a relationship, you got like foundational work to do, period. I mean, this shouldn't really be an issue, especially from a girl from abroad. I mean, so I'm not going to tell you go out and do anything haram. I'm not going to say it, but you should have a pretty solid understanding.
I'll tell you to do something around. I'm just kidding.
You got to have a pretty solid understanding of how your frame is with women in general in the West. I understand with German girls, exceptionally strong frame, just based off of how they react to me in general, because I'm the flavor of the week here. So it's kind of an unfair advantage. With American women, I know with like American white girls, I have a very strong frame. With African American women, it's like it's a fight, and I gotta like do a lot of like back and forth and game, this, that, the other, and negging, and like I gotta. So you have to know in general. But in general, I understand that my frame with women is quite solid. So if I go to another country, where I go to like the Middle East or something, or Eastern country, where game becomes, it's not like you don't have to negate. It's not negated, but it's less important. Come on, man.
That you brought up a great point, and we're getting some really good questions in here too. But and we'll answer all of them, guys. Don't worry, we'll stay on and answer all of them. But what I was going to say was, you brought up a good point. If you're a fucking simp in the United States, guys, all you're doing when you go to, Eastern Europe, East Asia, these South America, all these places that guys go to get laid, essentially, let's call a spade, right? Like, all you're doing is like, the difference is you don't have game. So you might get more femininity up front. She might give you sex because you're going to have more perceived value, but you're delaying an inevitable failure, because if you can't maintain frame, at some point, like, it's going to come, the chickens are going to come to roost, and she's going to find out that you're a fucking pussy. Because, guys, make no mistake, women are hypergamous, and they're always looking to see how weak you are or how strong you really are. And they want to make sure that whatever you purport yourself to be, you're congruent with all the fucking time. So going out and dealing with a foreign girl, yeah, that's cool. It might be fun up front, but you're going to take the L. So you got to figure this shit out. And I agree with Abu that it's actually good, right? People always want to cry about women in the West or whatever. It's actually good to date around in the West, figure out where you stand, learn this shit, right? At the hardest level almost. And then you can go abroad and you can use these universal traits, because game is universal. Like, the things that make you attractive as a man work here, they work in Germany, they work wherever. And if you get them down, then you'll be able to maintain the frame better regardless of where you are. Pepper in here in the chat said a worldwide sucker. Yeah, you don't want to be a worldwide sucker, guys. So learn this shit, because it works universally, man. So I agree 100%. Abu gave great advice, because if you can't make it in the West, you're good. All you're doing is prolonging your defeat other places where you might get some upfront positivity, but you're still going to take an L. And the other thing too, you need to learn this shit, because when you go abroad, you're going to have higher perceived value as an American or a Westerner. So girls are going to use you, and you don't want to. You don't want to get used. You want that desire to be genuine. And a lot of guys aren't able to discern genuine desire from like transactional shit. That's why so many guys marry a woman, bring her to the States. She gets her green card. Boom. 2 years later, she's the fuck out of there. So, yeah. One of the guys asked, he asked something about my. Okay.
Abu, which fighting art should we teach our kids at the beginning? I start off with striking, so boxing mixed with kicking. So basically kickboxing, but I'm heavy on hands. Kicking and whatnot is more like support. It's backup. And how to like it. I've got like an entire system I'm trying to show guys in my community, but it's hard to upload the videos, whatever else, get someone to record, whatever else. But I am trying to take them through steps, because my sons are absolute beginners, and they're making like advances quick. I mean, we've only started like 2 weeks. I got them sparring, and they're like, they're using very solid techniques. So striking and kicking, and then after that, jiu-jitsu. Okay.
Someone asked, Myron, your video is proper HD sharpen, Suleiman. I'm using a Sony A6400 right now, and I'm using, this is a Blue Yeti mic. Honestly, guys, I mean, thank you for the sound, but you should get, if you have the money, invest in a Shure SM7B, I think is what it is. I wish I had got one of those, but my problem is I don't have a boom arm to like hang it, because my table that I'm using is thick as fuck. So I had to use like a tabletop. So I just got the Blue Yeti. And then I use that Elgato. Then I got an Elgato Cam Link to the MacBook. It's to my MacBook Pro, and I use like an Elgato dock to like connect everything together. So that's kind of how I got the setup. And then I got some ring lights as well. So, so you guys can look at my face with the lights on, my ugly face with the lights on. And then someone asked, Ajax88, any books you advise to learn game? Oh, that's a good question. Earlier in the thing, we were talking about, you should read The Mystery Method, because in The Mystery Method, Mystery talks about a lot of attraction triggers that I think, to this day are still very important, and he talks about compliance tests, like basically, attraction is basically a compliance ladder. And if a girl doesn't comply, you DHV and then you get her to comply again, which I just say, if you don't comply, goodbye. But it is a good book to like learn rudimentary basics of how to be attractive to women. Then I also suggest you read The Rational Male by Rollo Tomasi. That book is a game changer. It's going to make you realize, like, that book, you're supposed to read that book to learn how females think, so you don't hate them and get resentment. Because a lot of guys tend to get bitter and angry at women and say, oh, fuck women and all this other shit. Guys, that is a toxic and terrible mentality to have. Men and women are designed to be together and complement each other. We're different. That doesn't mean you got to hate the opposite gender. So you read that book so you understand that the narrative that you've been told is not true, and that men and women are very different, and how they think. So I think it's a book so that you can understand women and not be mad and a butthurt loser. And then The Mystery Method is a good book, so you can learn basic attraction triggers, and then obviously there's a bunch of other ones like 48 Laws of Power, The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene. These are all great books to read as well. The Game by Neil Strauss, I didn't like that book that much personally. I think The Mystery Method was superior.
It was really long. Yeah,
and he talked more about like his experiences and shit like that. And honestly, I think Neil Strauss is a beta male. Like Mystery's kind of a beta male too, but Neil Strauss is 100% a pussy. So, yes, I will be putting out relationship stuff here soon. I actually just filmed 2 videos for it this week, so stay tuned. I'm thinking my next video might be a dating video, so it's going to be, I'm going to break down, stay tuned. It's going to be good. It's going to be on the current marketplace and how the solution for it.
Am I planning a book on game? Probably not. I think there's enough material out there on game that guys like they've got more than enough resources to go into that it's like I don't need to add another one. What I am doing.
No, go ahead. All I was gonna say was also read Renegade Dating Blueprint by Troy Francis. Shout out to Troy Francis, man. That's one of my it's a good friend. He's a London. He's a London dating coach. He's really good. Big with all facets of the game, but like day game he's really good. So I definitely think his Renegade Blueprint book is, and Abu knows him as well. That's good. Yeah. You should read those.
Yeah. So I am doing a vetting course. Basically, it's where it's like you can use like online vetting techniques, because what I do is I view women from the perspective. I've got a long list of women trying to get on the team. So for me, I use the process that women use in online dating. Men and women use online dating differently. Men look for qualifiers. Women look for disqualifiers.
Facts. I'm just talking about this.
So many options that they can they're like, look, this guy's picture's bad, gone. This guy, he's got like a bad joke in his thing, gone. He's got bad grammar, gone. So I'm using disqualifiers for women for my lifestyle, because if you get the wrong woman in your life, my niggas,
you're fucking done. And that's another thing. So let's talk about that real quick, man. Like, yo, that is that's why I tell guys, if your Instagram sucks, don't give it, because girls are always looking to disqualify you on dating apps and when you meet. So if you display any type of fucking bad behavior, like unflattering or low value behavior, she's gonna fucking curb you, because she has a list of guys that are willing to date her. So thanks, Taj. So that so you have to kind of apply that same mindset to get that abundance. So yeah, that's 100% true. And then you were talking about I said don't give your Instagram, and then you said something else that I wanted to touch on after that. You're looking to disqualify the woman.
Yeah, disqualifiers. So it's like I'm looking for disqualifiers for my lifestyle, because I mean, I'm not gonna lie, my first marriage kind of screwed up my life. I'm not gonna lie.
I remember what I was gonna say now, because you said if you pick the wrong woman, it'll fuck your life up. 100%, 100%. You guys gotta, when you guys go out and deal with these women, you gotta be like an employer. Okay, you gotta hire slow and fire fast.
Man, that's of course.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta do that, because the thing is that as a guy, especially if you got some money, you got a lot to fucking lose, man. Especially in the West, with the way, the problem is that the laws have not caught up to the fact that women are on a socioeconomic level equal to men. It's still, feminism has done a great job of making women and men equal from a socioeconomic status, being able to work, etc., which I think is excellent. Great. If women want to enter the workforce, that's fine. I'm not one of these guys like, oh, you fucking should be only in the kitchen and all this other stupid shit. Like, no. But what you guys got to understand is that the laws have not caught up to that progressiveness. And the laws are still written as if the man was the breadwinner and the woman was staying inside. So she's going to be entitled to your finances and your assets as soon as, in a bunch of states in the United States, and I'm sure it's very similar in Europe. Abu, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Once she starts living with you and cohabitating with you, that clock starts ticking, and she starts to accumulate interest in your assets, your financial assets. So as a guy, this is why you can't cohabitate, man. Like, I hate to say it, like, unless you're married, you don't cohabitate with women, because you put yourself not only in a bad position sexually, because you're going to be more apt to lose frame. She's going to know that that competition anxiety leaves. She's going to know she's your only source of sex. So you're going to become the mystery is going to be like shown. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to be mysterious anymore. So that's bad on the sexual side. Then on top of that, she starts accumulating rights to your assets. So it's dangerous to do that, especially in the West. So you have to vet women like even harder than they vet men. because you have more to lose, like way more from a financial standpoint. There's a reason why men that get in divorce are far more likely to kill themselves than women. Women initiate 80% of divorces because women, when they get in a relationship, they already have an exit strategy. You know what I mean? Women don't leave something without having something else set up. They're hardwired to look for security and provisioning. So you best believe when you get those divorce papers, she's been planning that for 6 months to a fucking year. That's why she's getting out with the kids, your money, the house, kicking your ass out, maybe even putting you in jail, on some other allegations of domestic abuse. So yeah, man, a woman can turn your life upside down if you don't pick the right one, guys. So, the pussy isn't everything. You got to, just like Abu was saying, like that is literally the best advice we've probably given this entire podcast. Hire slow, fire fast, vet these women very strongly, especially when you got money to lose.
Yeah. Besides marriage, you got to understand, like when I say disqualifiers, you got to understand this is very important. Men are always looking for qualifiers. It's like, how many times have you, Sads man, heard this guy, a friend or a brother of yours say, oh man, I met this girl. She's amazing. She's intelligent. She's funny. She's smart. She's this. She's beautiful. And then when you finally like cross paths with her, or you meet her, she's like really average. And you're like, my niggas, man, I thought you was gonna marry this like amazing woman. You talking about this amazing girl, and she's really average. No, she's just the only one that seems sexually available to him. And so he starts creating qualifiers there because he's so excited. It's like, oh my god.
Or worse yet, he misses red flags. Like you'll meet her and you'll see shit like stuff that's not conducive to like a successful relationship. Like you can see that she's an attention whore. She's always on her phone on Instagram. She has dating apps on her phone still. You'd be amazed at how many guys I know that like they've been dating a girl and she still had dating apps on their phone and they took her serious. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro? You need to cut her like now,
Yeah.
Like
that's one of the things. When I start getting serious with a girl, I go back and check to see if her profile's on there because I use dating apps because I'm in the bush. I'm in the armpit of Germany, dude. So it's like there's not like a huge population of women that's available to me where I am out in the countryside. So it's like that's one of the first things I do when it starts getting serious. Is she still on the app?
Yeah, that's a red flag, man. No, like you gotta cut that shit quick, and and here's the thing: it's not about being controlling or any of this other thing. It's about having boundaries, and having boundaries basically lets her know that there are consequences to doing things that you don't want her to do. And you're not holding a gun to her head and saying, you can't do that, whatever. You're basically telling her, I'm not going to fucking tolerate this shit and you will be replaced. And that will make you more attractive. But a lot of guys are scared to exercise these boundaries with these women because they have that scarcity mindset. And I agree with you, bro. Like, yeah, I've been there many times. Oh, this girl's awesome, whatever. And then I'll meet her and I'll be like, Jesus Christ, bro. Like, what the fuck is this guy? This girl is a fucking train wreck, man. Like, she has like a bunch of bad habits that I'm just like, she's like an alcoholic on the low. She does all this, she's like done drugs in the past, like all this shit. I'm just like, bro, this is not a girl you want to take seriously and marry and commit to, man. Because you're going to see that they always put their, best foot forward in the beginning of the relationship, right? And then you see the real side later on. And then by then it's too fucking late. That's why guys, man, that's why I don't even want to get married in the West, man. It's dangerous, man.
It is, man. It really is. It's dangerous. I did it. And it didn't turn out well for me, man. I had to restart life basically just 4 or 5 years ago. And, I'm behind the power curve. So don't make mistakes in picking a woman. If I look back in the past and look at my ex, wonderful woman that gave me let me not say wonderful, but, a half decent woman that gave me 6 kids. I could have probably done a better job, in picking, but whatever.
Yeah, you just gotta go. You just gotta have your eyes wide open and don't get in a relationship that's gonna fuck you up in the long run. And understand, as the man, especially if you make significantly more money than your wife, you have a lot to lose, and you need to just protect yourself. And I think a lot of guys are so willing to walk into the slaughterhouse and get fucked up in the relationship game. And the thing is too, there was a documentary, I think it's called Divorce Inc. or something like that. In the United States, the marriage and divorce industry is huge, guys. It's like a multi-billion-dollar industry. So people are hinging on the fact that you're going to fail and come to them and pay them for marriage counseling, divorce paperwork, the family law attorneys, family law courts and judges and other things. There's an industry that depends on your failure, guys. Understand that. So it's not it's not their incentive for you to win. And the other thing too is that the economy is designed I always say the economy, simps provide the economy sustenance. You know what I mean? Because simps just sit there and spend money on stupid shit and on women that don't earn it or deserve it. I'm not saying don't treat your woman. You definitely treat her, but she's got to earn that, man. Don't be so willing to give a girl a first date at a steakhouse you just met that hasn't earned that shit. So many guys want to sit here and like impress girls that don't give a fuck about them. Like, don't do that.
It puts yourself in a bad position anyway, because you're trying to put yourself
just try hard.
In the lower sexual market value position anyway, because you're trying to qualify yourself to where like, oh, look at me, I can spend that whatever else. You put yourself in a worse position as opposed to a better one. It's instead of making her position, you're just giving her stuff again, and that's what she's used to.
Yeah, and that's a great point. Like I always say it, like a lot of guys run what I call like I hope she likes me game, and that's the worst thing you can do. Like if a woman qualifies to you by virtue of you, if you qualify yourself to a woman by virtue of you doing that, you are telling her that you are better than me and pedestalizing her. And we all know here that women date up. If a woman is going to be most happy when she's qualifying to you because she feels like she's getting a top tier male, and the thing is that society doesn't like telling men that because like they don't want men to think like, oh, you're going to be cocky, you're going to be arrogant, whatever. It's like, no, you should be, because that's what makes you attractive, because women don't look for their equal. They look for superiority. That's the reality. They are hardwired to do that. So you have to be that. You have to internalize it. And don't just learn game and not internalize this shit. You could be like Mystery or Neil Strauss getting divorced, wanting to kill yourself and shit, because there were beta males that learned alpha behaviors, and then eventually they got exposed, and then boom, now they're wanting to kill themselves over women. And I mean, they've recovered now, but like that's what happens when you don't internalize this shit, guys. So yeah, man.
The role of called it giving dynamite to babies.
Yeah, facts, exactly. Yeah.
Qasim, thanks for using your bad experience to help us prevent from having bad future, bro. Abuamerican Little. Qasim, I say it all the time. I do it so that you don't have to. And I use my experience, especially in London. It's like I had so many women after me in London because the American accent just like it kind of gets over for you, and being big and muscular and a good-looking black dude. So I just hyper accelerated.
BBC.
Yeah, there was like yeah, exactly. Don't do this because the woman is like this, and I'm like, let me try it, and I actually tried it. Even though there was experiences out there, I said, let me go out there and hyper accelerate everything and try it. And I did it all. And let me tell you, 99% of this stuff is correct. Not all of it. I disagree with some of it, but I'd say 99% of it is absolutely correct. Abuamerican Little, I hope you can take this golden info and turn it into successful online business. Man, I suck at monetization, man. I've been trying for a while. I'm working on this course. But let's be honest, Taj, man, the Muslims they're kind of cheap. They don't like to spend money.
They're gonna want a discount or some shit. Man. They're very. Arabs are non-agreeable, bro. I'll admit it myself. They're not agreeable, man. And you tell them, hey, it's $500. Oh, 250. Like, bro, what? No. Get out here.
How do I demonstrate higher value? Myron said something that I wanted to actually comment on. What I do is he's like, you got guys out there playing this I hope she likes me game. I come from the position of why wouldn't you like me game? You know what I mean? I'm the freaking airport. It's like, you don't like me? Bitch, you crazy.
I take it a step further. I just tell them, take it or fucking leave it. This is how it is.
Yeah.
That's how you got to be.
Yeah, and that is definitely higher value. It's like, oh, I got the good deal and you want it. All right, whatever. All right, go on then.
So yeah, Islami. So I'll tell you this, bro. Like the way men DHV is different. The way to DHV to women as a man versus DHVing to men is completely different. So like as a guy, if you're gonna DHV to other men, right? Like let's say you got a business meeting or whatever, you show up in your nice car with your suit, whatever, right? That's like an honest DHV signal, or that that you're a successful guy. With women, you DHV by your behaviors, and what I mean by that is that you don't overtly tell her, yo, I'm dating 20 girls right now. I don't give a fuck what you think. I'm leaving. You don't say that, but you let her know. You let her know through your actions, hey, yeah, this isn't gonna work, whatever, and be willing to walk away. From you doing that, she's gonna be able to infer that you have other women, because the reality is 99% of guys are not gonna walk away from a hot girl. So when you display that you can and you don't give a fuck about it, more importantly, she's gonna say, what the hell? And she's not gonna be able to she's like, what the hell's going on? This has never happened. Because make no mistake about it, you take an attractive woman, most of them have never felt the sting of rejection in their fucking life. So when you do that, they're gonna try to qualify to you, and then boom, you win. Because then now she feels like she's getting a deal, and now she feels like she's getting the highest value guy that isn't sitting there qualifying her and shit like that. So being able to walk away infers value in itself without you having to say a word.
Nice. Very nice. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
That was a good question from
Yeah,
from
it
him.
was. Yeah.
That was a really good question.
Man. Well, I guess we can wrap this up. It's been like an hour and a half. Man, check it out, bro.
Yeah,
I
this was
really
great.
want to have you back on, man. A matter of
Yeah,
fact,
no, bro. I'd be happy to come back on. We could talk more Islam game.
I know, right? It's a big thing. It's like, I'm actually learning some stuff from some of the guys in my community, man. Some of these guys got some pretty slick game. I'm like, okay, look at these new guys coming up, like
yeah, man,
doing
you gotta
stuff and
adapt.
like, trying experiments and stuff. So it's really nice because we got like real time. Yeah, we got real time, like chats and whatever they're displayed and guys stuff. And it's really interesting to see how this new generation is coming up. But that Instagram game, man, I want to really pick your brain on the Instagram game.
Yeah. We absolutely can. I can show some examples and stuff like that too of like good Instagrams that you want to emulate that stuff. So we got one. Me and John actually made one. It's called Hot Dude Life. We did it for our pandemic pickup students. Hot Dude Life, one word. I'll put it in the chat as well. You can check that out. That's like something that me and John built together to show guys like how to set up a good Instagram. But what I could do is next time I come on, I can show you guys why we picked the pictures we picked, how we did it, all that stuff. So yeah, I'd be happy to give that value to your crew, man. But no, this was a great thing, man. You guys can find me at IG at Unplug Fit. My YouTube channel is Unplug Fitness. It's a fitness channel with an evidence-based approach, but I'm also going to with their studies and stuff. But I'm also going to be I'll start putting some dating stuff on there as well to help you guys out. And I'll be collabing with Abu. I pretty much see Abu every week. We do Dude Party together. And my website is unplugfit.com. And yeah, if you guys want some fitness coaching. But this was awesome, dude. This was a great conversation. It was fun.
Man. I enjoyed it. All right, guys. You know where to find me. We're out.
Later, guys.